guys. I'll wait for a few people to get in. Bullhorn Betty, it's nice to see you. I hope everybody had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. I was working on court papers, as you guys can imagine. And I figured we would have a topic of discussion. Obviously, the drumbeat of this channel at this point is to clear Seth Rogers. This is a man that has been seen on videotape, does not have the resources to hire somebody, does not live in the area, does not know very many people, lives a humdrum, homebody life outside of work until his son comes to visit. And then when his son comes to visit, he does things, outgoing things with his child, which is kind of different than where his child lives, according to everything that we've uncovered and discovered. So right now we're talking about the PR nightmare in Sumner County. That is the PR nightmare in Sumner County. So we're talking about Sebastian Rogers, 15-year-old boy, disappeared from inside a locked home. There's no evidence, according to law enforcement, that this child walked out the door. No evidence whatsoever. No scent whatsoever. I've said and maintained from the very beginning of this case that sometimes, and actually I didn't even say sometimes, usually the lack of evidence is evidence, because to me it implies cleanup. It's nice to see you all this morning, ridiculously early. Kelly, Vita, Crazy Times, Patricia, Claire, Metal, Michelle, it's nice to see you. Phil, Tony, Donna, Brenda, good morning. Good morning. Have a cup of coffee with me. Sit down. We're going to have a topic of conversation. Since this case has gone on, it seemed like everybody had good understanding of what the basic facts were. Paula, Linda, it's nice to see you. I'm looking for the clip of Megan Kelly's video. I think I posted it in my community tab yesterday. I think there should be both of them, because the first one was sent to me by somebody, which is what brought me to Megan Fox's channel to begin with. And then I got, I didn't get a notification, but it was in my my For You or whatever page it was at the very top. And I had just checked, and it was like 45 minutes into the video. So I started at the beginning because I wanted to hear everything that was being said. So Jules, it's nice to see you. Icy, good morning. Good morning. Karma Moon, it's nice to see you. I think, in my opinion, well, let's just get back to the facts of the case. So we have some dogs going that's unexplainable. Nobody can seem to explain why a dog dove into a retaining pond. It seems to me that there was a lot of mistakes done, and that's why law enforcement, we couldn't understand, why is law enforcement not engaging with the public? Why are they not engaging with the public? Well, we're getting a front row seat as to why they're not engaging with the public, why they're not. This has nothing to do with the integrity of the investigation, okay? They haven't done shit, meaningful shit in this case. No fingerprints, no forensic findings, no nothing, no forensic testing, no turning the house or the bedroom in the crime scene into a crime scene. I think these are all the things that we are finding out, and maybe the reason why Sumner County doesn't want to answer questions. But I don't really have a lot of faith or a lot of stock in their local media. Their local media seems to work for the sheriff's department, right? If they know something's going to get the sheriff's department or any government official in hot water, they should close up. They shut their mouth. They don't have nothing to say, right? And the reason why I say that is because Channel 4 and Channel 17 in their local area received, I handed them my paperwork. They took pictures of the paperwork. They knew this was wrong, and they failed to ask any questions from anybody. They failed to. So that tells me they were told to shut up and not run the story. This is exactly why I do what I do. I don't trust mainstream media. I don't trust the local media there. But what is the most damaging out of all of this? I think the most damaging out of all of this is how many resources law enforcement is putting into Bullhorn Betty that's not committed one crime in their community, but fails to do things like forensic testing of a home where a boy disappeared from. That is a major PR disaster, okay? Because now we have to go outside of their local community and try to bring in national media or media on the outskirts of their community that is going to actually run the story and look into the matter at hand, because we've got some problems here. We have statistics on our side, right? We have statistics. Statistics tell us that when a child disappears or is unalived, it's most likely by somebody that child knows, period. That is the statistics, okay? Do we have other statistics out there? Of course we do. They're lower in nature. What we've heard from law enforcement is that they do not believe that this is a stranger danger situation. That eliminates that, right? They don't believe this child was abducted. That eliminates that. So it leaves him walking out of the home or foul play. Two options. And then on the same sense of that, then we have them telling us they have no evidence this child walked out of the home and no dog scent either. Again, another major problem, because if you have no scent from this child walking, but you have scents that the dog picked up on that dove into a retaining pond, we got a problem. We have a problem. So we have all this stuff going on. We're watching helplessly as this law enforcement body fumbles the ball all over this case, fails to clear Chris or ask for any type of outside assistance. It's been 6 months and they got nothing, right? Because if they had something, they wouldn't be fighting so hard to keep one journalist quiet, right? I've done nothing in their community. The worst thing I think I might have done is I might have went 1 or 2 miles over their speed limit, if I have to be honest. But most of the time when I'm filming, especially from my car, I'm usually driving slower than the speed limit because I'm filming from my car, right? Why did I film from my car? Because I didn't trust getting out of the car. And I'm glad I made that assessment. And the only times I did get out of the car was when I was live. So I'm having some problems with this whole situation. I'm glad a First Amendment right journalist got a hold of everything and started discussing this case, because it makes me feel a little more comforting. Because I have to think that this is the doing of Sumner County, and I don't think the judge is going to buy all of this. Now, I don't know. I have no idea whether he's going to buy this horse manure or not. But I can tell you, when you got a 15-year-old child missing and you're trying to shut down media and journalistic work, we've got problems. We've got major problems. I mean, we're not talking about some doofus on YouTube that just, is there for entertainment. I mean, we've done some major interviews with some high-profile cases. I was seen on Paramount and Web Sleuths. I mean, we're not talking about a wannabe journalist. We're talking about a journalist that has been aired, publicized and put in documentaries. And they're trying to shut my work down. Well, it didn't work, because even though they don't want me talking about it, we're talking about it because I've got my orders right here. And guess what? I'm definitely allowed to talk about this case. It's a public case. It is a public and a national interest case. I don't know what this detective was thinking or doing, but it wasn't about the law. It was about shutting my mouth and willfully, maliciously violating the law to plaster me and to try to discredit me in their community and abroad. This is a huge PR disaster. Absolutely 100% disaster. How confident does the audience, we've got about 300, it's awfully early this morning, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. We have 282 people in here. How confident are you after seeing this display, law enforcement lynching me, right? That's really what it was. It was a lynching, just about, right? Public lynching um, of me. And we have a 15-year-old boy that we've been asking questions on for 5 months and have gotten zero response, got ghosted, got, the middle finger from Eric Craddock's department at the Sumner County Sheriff. Do you feel confident that this law enforcement body has the wherewithal? I mean, since they don't know the law, we can clearly see they have no idea what the law is, because I was arrested for not breaking a law or violating any type of order. How confident are you that they're going to be able to successfully bring this case home? Oh my God, the comments: when you were arrested, I was going nuts. Hello, idiots. Do you know BHB at all? She's a great person if you know her. I was so mad because all they wanted was the smear. They wanted the smear. They didn't care about the damage. They just wanted me to shut up. Well, guess what? I'm not shutting up. I'm not shutting up. I don't like being in jail. I don't want to go back to jail. But if fighting for my rights requires me another trip or two to that jail, by God, I'm going. Because one thing you don't screw with is somebody's constitutional rights. And that's exactly what they did. And this detective knew these people were lying. Because she's a detective. She has access to my account. She could have previewed it. She should have asked them for all the information that they had, all the videos of these threats. And she didn't. Or she willfully didn't care and only wanted to help them shut me up. Either way, they broke the law, not Bullhorn Betty. No matter how you look at this, they broke the law. All the people involved broke the law. So, how much confidence does my audience have? From day one, it was weird how the locals hacks said, leave the parents alone, don't talk to the parent. From out the gate, Chris was trying to make sure that cameras did not point at his house. When you have a missing child, I have never, and we've covered a lot of missing children. I don't know how many children we have covered over these years, but we've covered a lot, maybe not as in-depth as this, but we've covered a lot of missing children, a lot. And I have never, this is the first experience I have ever heard a parent saying, get those cameras off my home. Not wanting to talk to media, not wanting to beg for the return of their child, not being out there in front of a camera with the picture of their child saying, my child is missing, he's got to be around here somewhere, please check everything, we really need your help. None of that. They went dark for 8 days until the case turned and started leaning to a different realm other than he walked out the door. Meanwhile, law enforcement, I don't think, is stupid, because they've had murder investigations in their county and they know a liar when they see one. I don't believe he's that convincing, because he didn't convince me. And if he convinced some detectives, or they convinced some detectives, I would have to be very curious about the mindset of the detectives on this case. Because it's awfully funny that former FBI agents can see through it. Former homicide detectives can see through it. But somehow Sumner County Sheriff cannot. And but they don't understand freedom of speech, freedom of press, constitutional rights like open carry, or how to apply the law equally to its citizens. Pretty horrible PR for Sumner County that has a very large public interest missing person case, a missing child, a 15-year-old autistic boy. It doesn't even feel like they put this much effort into him. at least recently. Maybe they have nothing better to do but twiddle their thumbs and watch Bullhorn Betty's show. Maybe that's the case. Maybe they just have to tune in, right? They just have to tune in. Nobody's required to watch, by the way. I mean, just in case you don't know. This is a channel. You can scroll up. You can delete. You can prevent me from ever seeing my face again, right? Prevent me from ever seeing my face again. But what you can't do is you can't tell me to shut up on my own damn channel about a public case with this much interest in it. That's the one thing you can't do. Now, people may say I'm obnoxious, and no, I'm confident in the law. And I'm confident the minute I was arrested that it was a violation of my constitutional rights. Confident. Confident so much so that I called the detective and the sheriff out on it. So confident. This is clear. This is not even, middle of the road. Could it be? Could it not be? This is so freaking clear on its face that they willfully violated somebody's constitutional rights to literally try to silence them because they didn't like the commentary. That's a big old no. Big old fat no. And then proceeded to plaster me all over the news, all over social media, causing me major reputational damage when I've committed no crimes. How? I just want to know how Sumner County is planning on fixing that. Because I'm going to demand them fix this. And I don't see how they can. I don't know how they can possibly fix the damage they've caused me. Never mind the 19 hours I was in jail with a degenerate disc disease, DDD, scoliosis, neck surgery, C5, C6, discectomy infusion on hard concrete for 19 hours. They wouldn't give me a mat. They wouldn't give me a pillow. They wouldn't even give me a blanket when it was 55 degrees in there. I was freezing and in a lot of pain. It's well documented. The officer bruised my wrist transporting me. I deserve that for not committing one crime in their community. This is a horrible PR disaster for Sumner County. And I hope to God their news organizations, maybe this is something that y'all can do. Start blowing up those news organizations' phones and asking them why are they willfully burying a major story of corruption in their county. Call Channel 4. Call Channel 17. Call Stacey Cameron from Channel 4 Nashville. Stacey Cameron, Channel 4 Nashville. An investigative journalist, not like Nick Barris, from what I hear. Snake Barris. It's very frustrating. And all I've ever wanted was to do right in this case, follow the leads where they take me, give you guys perspectives of the nighttime view and the daytime view, everything that I have done from every single case I've ever covered. We've always driven around. We've always went from one location to the other. We've always been in front of the homes because that's the ground zero. We've always made sure we were on public property, not private property. We know the setbacks. We know the easements. And these people are they don't understand when they have a county easement on a property, whether or not it's utilized by private services or not, when you have a county easement, that county easement is owned by the county, okay? It is still required to be maintained by the property owner, but that area is designated for the county, i.e., it's owned by the people. It's very challengeable. But see, they're not utilizing. What they did is they told law enforcement that I have a gun that I'm threatening to use against them to unalive them. And then I'm driving up and down their house. You guys know that that's not true. They lied. And they threw me in jail. Not only that, but this detective knew they were lying. She knew they were lying. It's very easy to type Bullhorn Betty in and go check out my channel. And you know what? If they had these allegations of me threatening them, why didn't they turn them over to her and let her know where the video was? And if she didn't see the video, then why in the world would she listen to them? Because they even stayed in there. It's said on my show. It's said on my show. It's live streamed on my show. Very easy to confirm and corroborate. Very simple. Hell, even all the hate channels, the hundreds and hundreds of haters of Bullhorn Betty can't produce one video to Megan Fox to show me breaking the law or threatening violence. Can't even do it. All the hundreds of people running their mouth on these platforms telling people that I'm a criminal and I need to be in jail and I harass people can't produce one video in support to a legitimate investigative reporter that covers First Amendment rights and the law. Not one. Out of 3 years, they can't produce her one. They've tried to produce her videos, but the videos that they produced her, again, not committing a crime. All above board, all within my constitutional rights. Never broke a law. It's pretty sad. But they can't produce one video. Not one. They've had several days, and you know they were blowing her up. You know they were blowing her up with a bunch of clip videos. And she's like, she didn't commit a crime. I've been telling these yahoos they have no idea what the law says or how to even interpret it. They have no idea what the elements of harassment require. They don't understand that when you're protesting, it's not harassment. It's a peaceful assembly. It doesn't mean it's quiet assembly. There is nothing in the Constitution that says we have to stand there in silence. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. So people have been angry with Bullhorn Betty for 3 years because they think I'm a criminal and I broke the law. Well, you know, we're about to show that what I do is not crimes. They're legitimate, they're above board, and they're protected by law. Which is what I've maintained for the last 3 years, why these people tore my life completely apart and completely down, and now had a stupid ass, hillbilly, bunk sheriff arrest me for no crimes. I have never seen this crap in my life. I've heard about it, you know, but I've never experienced it for myself until I went to Sumner County, Tennessee, where they don't like following Tennessee law and arrest people unlawfully and detain them unlawfully because it was an unlawful arrest. It was an unlawful arrest even with the protective orders in place. It was all BS. Megan Fox or Megan Kelly? Megan Fox. Megan Fox. How do you know I'm watching her stream? She did good. She did good. And you heard some of the haters. You guys know who the haters arguing with her. And she's like, well, send it to me. If she's done these things, I'll be right on there. Send it to me. Show me. Everybody just watches me online. So everything that they say I do should be very easy to find. Very easy to find, in my opinion. Well, I was arrested but it was a warrant from Sumner. I was arrested in Montgomery. They waited until, and this is how crappy the parents are, right? The mom and the stepfather and the team that they're working, the 3 teams that they're working with on YouTube, right? They wanted to ruin Sebastian's prayer vigil. They made sure that this was all coordinated with the help of a detective that I now question in every major case she's covered. With the help of her, made sure that they strategically did this so it was done at Sebastian's rescue ride. So the parents could piss on the boy just a little bit more. Right? You can't even let him have a rescue ride. This is how evil and disconnected his own mother and stepfather are. What parents do that? What parents sit on their butt and do absolutely nothing for months? What parents, within 2 weeks of the peak of the investigation, the search, hundreds of searchers out there, and they get in their camper and leave the state? What type of parents do this? Right? What type of parents do this? And then, at one vigil, decide to scream at Seth at his truck and leave and go shopping for motorcycles, and then complain that they didn't get the certificate for their award for their son when 2 of them were printed. They should have been there. They chose not to. That was vigil 1, right? Now this vigil, they made sure, with the help of their criminal YouTubers, crash something that they knew they were not invited to, while they set Bullhorn Betty up for an arrest and made sure the cameras were on me for the takedown of this unlawful arrest. These are the people that say I'm harassing them, and they got their people stalking me everywhere I go. We got Chris on a podcast telling people where I'm located. We got Chris on another podcast, the same podcaster, different time, stating he's going to run me over. Then we have his stepfather showing up where I was just pulled over by. How did he know what my car looked like? How did he know where I'd be? What would entice him to get behind my car and take my picture of my license plate? So where is the harassment coming from me when we have all of this online coming from them? And they did this on Sebastian's prayer vigil, where we had a huge turnout. This was done by his mom and stepfather, right? Why? You got to start asking yourself why. Law enforcement needs to come to Jesus and ask themselves, why in the hell would they get in bed with these people? Because that's what they did. These people that have had CPS in their home, the same parents that allowed this child to be SA'd, abused, stuffed in his room at night, always in trouble. When he doesn't do right, he's got to bag up and throw away all of his toys. Pretty barbaric, if you ask me. Pretty barbaric. And then those same people now have that same child missing from their home and can't explain how or why. I have problems. I have major problems with the law enforcement out there in the community. I have major problems with the mom and the stepfather and his family. Here's why I believe the family knows something. This is why. Because immediately grandma and grandpa, step-grandma and grandpa, leave. That is very weird and problematic behavior for somebody like me. Leave. Then you have Chris and Katie leave. None of the other family came out to help. Not the cousins, not the aunts and uncles. Remember, Katie said during the summer he likes going over to a family member's house swimming. We've learned that that's either little D or big D, right? The Guy family, right? Second generation construction, Guy family. So why weren't they out there? Why didn't second generation construction pony up some money for this child that comes over every summer to swim in his pool? Why didn't he take the day off or give his workers a day off to help and aid in the search of his missing nephew? Why didn't anybody from that family help? And the people that did help were met with harassment, bodily injury, and arrest for just trying to help and bring awareness to this case. Whether you like my commentary or not, it doesn't matter. I'm allowed to have my commentary. This is America. This is not a third world country, and we do not live in China. Why did nobody help? Nobody from their family. Nobody. Not the aunts, not the cousins, not the mommy, not the stepdaddy, not grandparents. Nobody. And they want to shut my voice down. Well, seems like they did a bang-up job about that, huh? One thing I will do is when I know I'm right, I'm right. I don't give a rat's ass who I'm not going to bow down and kiss these people's ass that just violated my rights and threw me in jail. They can kiss this ass. Play this for the judge. You violated my rights. Do you think I'm a happy camper? You got a 15-year-old boy to be worrying about, and you're throwing a journalist in jail. Enough's enough. So we'll see how everything goes. You know, it looks like we're going to be in court. I will be there. People wanted to know. I told people when I don't lie to my audience, which everybody keeps saying, oh, she's lying. She's got something up her sleeve. I don't lie to my audience. I just sneak around and do stuff. That's all. Like I'll be here talking 1 minute. Next minute, you guys all go live and I'm in Tennessee or Mississippi or Utah, right? Just to keep the hate channels, because they don't need to watch what I'm doing. They're stalking me. So I have to try to work within the means that I have to work within. But I can tell you that this is going to be a great case. Every time that law enforcement decides to mess with me, I'm just going to bring them back to this case and tell them why they want to stay. They would want me just to go ahead and get my job done and get out of their way. Don't interfere with my work. I have a right to be here. I have a right to work. I have a right to do the job that I'm doing. And they do not have a right to harass me over it. I never read those statements from, I have to be honest with you. I never read the statements on how they got the POs. I've never read them. I didn't. It wasn't until Megan read them and I'm like this is so easily provable right here. It's insane. And for a 20-year detective to make such a rookie mistake just doesn't bode well in my world. I call BS on that. But I think everybody under the sun knows my rights were violated. I think no matter how much damage control Sumner County Sheriff's is going to do, or the DA, or the courts, it's not going to matter. It's all going to come out in the wash. We are planning on doing whatever we need to do, lawfully wise. To make if they make us go to appeals court, that's exactly where we're going to go. I can tell you that, because if we can't get a fair shake in Sumner County with the judges, it's going to a higher court, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's definitely going to a higher court. They will not violate my rights. Like I said, I was hoping that the DA would just do the right thing and drop the charges because they know they're bunk charges, but they won't. They're going to have a court force them to drop the charges, which is a damn shame. Because it shows me about the integrity of the DA's office. Just saying. So we will see what Betty is fighting for all you, not just all YouTubers, Well, I am, even the shit channels. But at the end of the day, if it can happen to me, which it's the shit channels that concocted this, right? They put the idea in Chris and Katie's head. And they executed it And then they supported it by phone banking and trolling law enforcement in the DA's office. Hundreds and hundreds of calls. Hundreds and hundreds of calls, guys. As if law enforcement doesn't have enough on their plate. They think their YouTube petty bullshit is something law enforcement needs to deal with. This is how childish this has gotten. This is how dangerous these channels have gotten. They've been stalking me. It is the responsibility of the people on this app to demand its safety. And when you're just as complicit as these criminals are, you're no better than them. You don't have to like me, but you don't get to violate law. And that's what's happened. You know what? Maybe I will. Whoever can, why don't you guys start reaching out to Nancy Grace, right? Start reaching out to Court TV. Start reaching out to News Nation. That might help get some more national attention on this. I'm going to be doing this stuff behind the scenes with my contacts to get this spread out. But, you guys enforce in numbers. That's what it's going to take. We're going to need cameras. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to need cameras in that courtroom because I don't trust this. I don't trust the system. I don't trust the system. It's easy to violate somebody's rights behind closed doors. It's much harder to violate somebody's rights with a whole bunch of cameras looking at you. So there is that. Why are you going to court? I'm going to court because I was unlawfully arrested by Sumner County. They seem to have more interest in me than a 15-year-old boy that's been missing from their community for 6 months. I don't get it. Seems like misguided priorities, if you ask me. I was shocked when Megan revealed the lies they told you. Yeah. And we all know they're lies. And I said that from the very beginning. I'm really disappointed in the local media. This was a huge story. This is a huge story during an election time, and they're trying to shovel it under the rug. I don't trust local media. Your investigative journalist, Snake Barris, he didn't do shit. I mean, if this shows how much investigative work how he can do his investigative, then he's shit. Let's be honest. He's garbage. If they can't do investigative work or there's some kind of silenced, how is that freedom of the press? They care more about their jobs than their duties. I care more about my duties than my job. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. I'm a little ruffled under the feathers over this, but this is a major PR fail for Sumner County. Where the hell is Sebastian Rogers? Sumner County, where is Sebastian? It seems to me, Sumner County, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, seems like I got a lot of stalkers even from that county. Why aren't you worried about a 15-year-old boy and you're putting this much time and energy into a journalist? Please explain that to me, because we still have a missing boy in that community. And I know that despite your lack of effort, there's going to be on September 14th, major search efforts being kicked off by Terry Lynn out there in the woods to help search for Sebastian. I would give you guys a handful of flyers, but it seems like his family, the family he lived with and their parents seem to not like the flyers. They like to tear them off the poles. They don't like advocating for their missing family member. It seems awfully funny, right? We have all of these negative red flag checks, and we can't seem to get Sumner County to be able to connect the dots. But hey, let's go arrest unlawfully the journalist that's pointing all these things out. Seems pretty bad for them. PR nightmare. We need Seth cleared. Seth Rogers deserves to be cleared. Why? Because he had nothing to do with this. And now people are trying to do damage control and try to put the focus on Seth because of hurt feelings. Allowing guilty. How do you call yourself investigative reporter when you can't seem to have a thought of your own, an opinion of your own? I have never heard that journalists are not allowed to have opinions of facts of a case. Never heard that before. Oh, well, they can't have an opinion. Who said that journalists can't have an opinion? I have an opinion. I cover the case. I don't let law enforcement bully me into submission. Why? Because I got the Constitution. I don't have to bow down to them. I'm allowed to speak freely in the United States of America. I'm allowed to have my thoughts, my opinions, my criticism, and I'm allowed to investigate a public story case. I'm allowed to investigate any story, whether it is national news or local news. However I see fit, not how my government sees fit. So the government has some explaining to do, not Bullhorn Betty. So I hope that they explain why they willfully violated my rights and unlawfully arrested me. Maybe you can help me out there, Lisa Byington. I'd like to know. Because I'd like to see the threats. So far in your affidavit, I haven't seen one threat of violence that I have committed, ever. So, and then the only thing that they're still silent. They won't talk, right? It took them days to even thank the FBI for a $50,000 reward, and they kicked a reporter off their front lawn for asking them if they had any comment about it, and they said no comment and slammed the door in the lady's face. They think they're going to bow up and say, oh, you can't be on my property. Well, that's lawful. I can come knock on your door. I ain't going to knock on your door. I'd never even wanted to knock on their door, right? If I wanted to knock on their door, I would have. It would have been in my right to do. So it's sad that parents can act like this in a missing child, and anybody that questioned it may go to jail. That's some scary stuff. Again, PR nightmare. PR nightmare in Sumner County, Tennessee. How many people believe that Seth has nothing to do with his son's disappearance? 1, if you don't believe he had anything to do with it. 2, if you're on the fence. 3, he's guilty. Doesn't seem like we have too many people on the fence. Michelle, as I say that. So we got a couple. Thank you for being honest, by the way. Thank you for being honest. So the majority of the group thinks nothing. We've got we got one person that thinks he's guilty of sin. So 2 people. So we've got 4 people that are on the fence, 2 people that believe he's guilty of sin, and the majority of, we got 5 people that believe he's on the fence, and the majority of the people believe, 6 people, majority of the people believe he's innocent. Okay? And that probably is about, that's good. Oh, Kevin says he's doing 2 because it's the first time he's heard about the case. Well, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate, Bean Feathers, look at you. I haven't seen you in a while. It's nice to see you, my love. Okay, well, let me give you some explanation for the people that don't know about this case. This is kind of it in a nutshell, okay? You're going to want to do your own research. You can go back. I have a whole playlist. You can start from the beginning. And, Steph was walking in late. Hey, my beautiful coffee bean. So this is the kid. The kid is Sebastian Rogers. He's 15 years old. He's a high functioning autistic boy. And he was home alone, according to everything that we've heard, home alone with his mother. His stepfather was 3.5 hours away. But here's the kicker. The mom, the stepfather, and the grandparents' alibis are they were sleeping. Okay? Seth Rogers, which is the boy's biological father, he is very much involved in his son's life. He wants his son. He wanted his son full time. Prior to this, he was supposed to be getting his son full time after the summer, and that was because the stepfather approached him and said, "My marriage is in the crapper. Your son's causing marital problems in my household. I want to get custody of my daughter, and I don't want your child around him. So I want you to take him and have him live with you full time." And Seth said, "Okay." Seth was at work. He works the midnight, whatever shift to whatever shift, but he doesn't get off. He's there throughout the night and in the morning. And I think he gets off around 6 or 6:30. Oh, thank you, Emily. God bless you. 6 or 6:30. And he's out by, I don't know. Don't have me concrete on the exact time he leaves. But the bottom line is he's leaving early in the morning around 6 or 7 o'clock. Between 6 and 7, he's leaving his work. So he works at the Davison County Jail. He's a deputy sheriff that works inside the jail. And so he was on camera. They have his key card when he arrived at work. They got his key card when he left work. And that day it was very strange because Chris nor Katie called his work. It appears that he either got a text message or a voicemail from Chris, and when he called him back, he says, "Please don't be mad, but your son is missing." Those were his words. Seth he's not familiar to the area. He has only been there. I don't know how long Seth has been there, but he hasn't been there too awfully long. He doesn't really know people. If you meet Seth, he's kind of a homebody. He doesn't really do anything unless his son's there. And when his son's there, they go fishing. They do stuff together. He enjoys being around his son. He enjoys teaching his son. He has disabilities, some disabilities similar to his son. So he tries to teach his son the way he was taught so he understood how to live life, and he had a very special connection with his son. Even the mom and the stepfather can't deny it. They've said he was the biggest rooter from the sidelines. So a lot of hate on these channels are being pointed at Seth because he was working with a team that wasn't working properly with him, and he fired them. Well, he fired people that had pretty large channels and a pretty large team. And those teams went to work overtime in smearing him on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. He was the only one out there searching for his son, physically out there searching for his son, almost to the point of injury, and actually had to have surgery on his neck or shoulders. I'm pretty sure it was neck surgery. Had to have surgery on his neck because of him working, trying to find his son. He has not stopped trying to find his son. The step-parent, the mom and stepfather, have failed to help, have failed to search, have decided to go out to eating barbecue when people were asking them to come out and help them search. They basically said no. Law enforcement told us to stay home, but oh, by the way, we can go out and enjoy a nice dinner. And they enjoyed a nice dinner while strangers were looking for their child. Strangers and this boy's father were out there searching for this child. They go and eat barbecue and have a nice leisurely day. And then when people complain about it, they decide to run away, get in their camper, and flee to another state. It is unimaginable to me how people can literally trash an innocent father and make him attempt to make this man look guilty when it doesn't matter. He's clearly on a video at work during the time this child disappeared. Law enforcement was called to the Proudfoot home before Seth even left work. So he was literally there the entire time. His excuse is not, I was sleeping. His excuse not only was, I was working, but I'm on videotapes the entire time. So why isn't law enforcement clearing this man so he can get resources? Because they're refusing to speak to him even about minute things such as, are you further along today than you were on February 26th? Doesn't go to the integrity of the investigation. He also asked, is there anybody from the other side of the family that works for his department? Won't tell anybody anything. It is fishy as hell. And we have a right to question it without being thrown in jail. Just saying. What you doing? Hi, pretty girl. Hey. What you doing? Come here. Come here. Oh, there she is. There she is. Oh, the pretty baby. Oh, the pretty baby. She's a crime fighter. I gotta say, I think she's better than Bullhorn Betty, but don't tell Bullhorn Betty, okay? She might get jelly. I think she would. I think she would be a good interrogator. Look at her. Look at those eyes. I think she'd be a good interrogator. You need to tell me what happened. Tell us where Sebastian Rogers is. We know you know something. If anybody doesn't know, this is my beautiful baby girl. It's a girl. Her name's Delilah. Her and I spend a lot of time together. She's just a lover. She's just a lover. She's got the cutest stinking face in the whole world. My mom, she looks bigger online than she does in real life. And she's getting bigger than she was. But I remember the first time my Mama Bullhorn, came over here to meet her fur grandbaby, right? She saw her. She comes in the house and she looks like, oh, she's so tiny. And I said, yes, she is. She's very tiny. She goes, she looks so much bigger online. She is starting to get long. She's starting to get big. She's my baby. She's my baby. She's my baby. She just chills. This is when she's like this, it's not too bad. But usually when we're in here, she doesn't want to settle down, you know. But she's I'm trying to stay out here a little more so she can get used to it. Because if I can get her used to it out here, then I can get her used to it in the office. And I'd like to get back in the office without her chewing on everything. You got to understand, I've got a lot of cords in there. I've got a lot of paperwork in there. You know, I keep the door closed as I'm, you know, getting her raised up a little bit, you know, and then she'll, oh, she's a cutie pie, and then we'll be fine. But I really need to start driving with her a little more. I'm gonna have to start getting out of the house and going around the block or something, because I got to getting her predisposed to driving, because she's gonna be my sidekick. I don't want to leave her at home. I don't want to have to leave her with my mom. Mom's calling me. It's like, you're going to have to bring her over, you know. Gramsci's missing Delilah, right? Gramsci's missing Delilah. So she jumps at every opportunity, because her cat kind of sits there and mopes around the house, you know, doesn't really have, you know, a friend. And Delilah kind of, you know, she's a puppy, so she gets along by herself playing. And then if she's just too bored, you know, she'll come and start nibbling on me and basically telling me she wants to play, right? So then I got to get down on the floor and play with her and stuff like that. But when she goes over to my mom's house, she's got Binks. And this cat is huge, but this cat loves her. I don't know what it is. They were so concerned whether the cat was going to be mean to her or not. So they were really kind of, you know, the first time she stayed there, kind of biting their nails. But they had never seen that this cat plays with this dog, absolutely loves it. They're like, this dog can like bite this cat in the face, and the cat's like, you know, But they play, and then the cat will just be on a chair, and Delilah won't be paying attention, and all of a sudden the cat just lunges off the chair, and they just look like Peter Griffin and the chicken, you know? They have fun together. They have fun, and she really enjoys herself. She really enjoys the cats. And then over at my best friend's house, she's got two very rambunctious dogs that she gets to play with. So she's tuckered out. I took her over there and she played for like 2 hours. I didn't know what to expect, because she was just laying on my arms coming home. She wasn't whimpering like she always whimpers just first few minutes in the car. She didn't whimper. She just fell down. And then when I brought her in the house, she like face planted. She was so exhausted from running for 2 solid hours that she literally face planted on the rug in the living room. And I'm like, are you okay? I'm like petting her, and she's just looking at me. I'm like, you're an exhausted little girl. So I pick her up. I didn't want her sleeping on the carpet, you know, so I pick her up and I put her in bed. And this little girl slept 3 solid hours, like during the day. Like, she does not sleep like that. She'll take a cat nap, you know, a few minutes here, a few minutes there. But that's about it, you know. So she likes animals. But she's just too much in their face, you know. I got to try to you know, let her play, but keep it, you know, facing below. I'm not really having a good, you know, I'm not doing very well on that. If anybody has, okay, thank you, Earth Angel. If anybody has any suggestions on how to train her not to be in the animal's face, but I think that's just dog and cat stuff. I think that's just what they do. They sniff their face, they sniff their butts. I don't know, okay? I love the dog. I just don't know the dog, okay? I don't know doggy. That's the only one with a solid. That's it, P.S. Seth's the one with the solid alibi, you know? And that's the only, you know, he deserves to be cleared. It's not that there's an if or a but or anything. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter if this kid was abducted. It doesn't matter if this kid got out of the house and got kidnapped. You know, I mean, it does matter. I mean, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter, because he's cleared in all of it. So it really doesn't matter where this case really goes. Seth was not a part of it, other than being this boy's father. He needs to be cleared. In all fairness, I think he needs legal expertise himself, because he needs to start demanding why this house that his son was last seen at has not been forensically tested. This is a major issue for me, because I'm sick of law enforcement standing in my face, arresting me for having an opinion, and telling me that there's no evidence of foul play, and then I hear on the next line there's no forensic testing done or fingerprints done of inside the home. Well, if this boy was last seen inside this home, don't you think that would be a necessary step? You know? And I'm not sure, but probable cause in my world is the same from state to state. You need probable cause. The boy was last seen in this home. You have no evidence of him leaving. It needs to be searched forensically. Why? Because law enforcement makes mistakes when they search the house and toss the house. And you know what? Not only that, but some of the evidence why forensics are needed is because it's hidden from the naked eye. Is Sumner County too poor to have forensic testing done of this home? I mean, I'm serious. What do they need? You know, it would be nice if they just told us. What do they need for probable cause to go in this house? It was the last place this boy was. What more probable cause do you need? He's missing. He hasn't been seen. He never was seen leaving his home. We need to check the home. Pretty simple. It's not rocket science over here. Would it help him to have an attorney to get some answers pertaining to Sebastian? You know, once this is over, I may start doing some fundraising for that effort because, yes, I do believe he needs an attorney, an aggressive attorney that's going to keep, because I'm not pleased with Sumner County. They're not following the law, I can tell you that. So now we understand why they didn't follow the directives of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, because they don't follow the rules or the laws. They think they live in that they're the ruler of the roost, that laws don't apply to Sumner County. Probable cause, that's it. That's it. Flip a coin to see if they want to do that. Maybe it has to do with voting. I don't know. Hey, Serenity. Ellie needs to stop taking parents' word that kids ran away. How many times have we seen parents hurt their kids? A lot. Absolutely. But these people aren't out here in the real world. They're in Hendersonville, Tennessee. They're ostriches. They act like they think that we don't know what we're talking about when we're looking at them just shaking our head. I watched past crimes here in Australia, and they always went back to the house for missing children. Bingo. Everybody does. You know what? Do you know Madeline Soto's home? Remember, step-parents said, hey, we took her to school. She ran away. Well, you know what? Our forensic teams were there within 12 hours. In Florida, that whole house was forensically tested within 24 hours. Why? Because Florida understands the importance. Florida understands how to follow the directives of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And guess what? It stated that the stepfather did something horrible to this girl and unalived her. Tennessee needs to get it together. I have been on a drumbeat for Tennessee since 2021 about their crap policing. The whole state needs better policing. They need more training, more resources. Instead of defunding Tennessee, we need to fund them and fund them a lot. Because I feel like they're in the ice ages when we're in today. KP was rocking back and forth like Soto's mother when interviewed. I think that has a lot to do with nerves. I really do. Nerves, whether you're innocent, nerves, whether you're guilty, nerves, but for me, Katie was doing it just to do it. Jen Soto, I believe she was on some type of medication that caused her the anxiety. So even though, I just... There's different things. I just get different things from things. I know people are going to believe what they want to believe. I'm not here to change their mind. But, Jen Soto, I feel very bad for her. I feel like she was preyed upon and her daughter was preyed upon. Do I feel she has some type of culpability? In part, negligence, but I don't believe it was her negligence. I believe it was her illness's negligence and the fact that she was on medication that just kept her foggy. And I think when you're in a foggy state, you can be easily manipulated, and I believe that's what happened. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm not going to paint step-parents with broad brushes because of this one sicko. I think step-parents are amazing. I think a lot of people have some really good step-parents in their life. And some of the things that we're hearing appears to be shocking, but it's not that shocking to me. A child has a nightmare, a step-parent goes in there and cuddles up with them until they go to sleep. Innocent stuff. I don't want to take that away from good parents. This was a sicko. This was a freaking deranged sicko that was a predator. Being from Sumner County, I can tell you foul things. My cousin was found hanging, so was her mom and five others. My cousin, only one survived. Jeez. Did they do it It doesn't sound like they did it themselves. I'm sorry to hear that, Jackie. Well, I'm not too pleased with your police department, your sheriff's department. You know, I would honestly believe that this kind of conduct would come from a police department before a sheriff's department. I'm highly, highly disappointed. But it gives me clarification. I just, again, I think this is a huge, huge PR nightmare. I really do. For Sumner County. I think this is a black eye for them. Because this paperwork is going to get out. You know? Well, like you arrested someone that was in Florida for hashtags and threatening to lawfully sue someone for lying under oath. That's what I was arrested for. Those are covered by First Amendment rights all day long, even with the court order. They were wrong. What they did to me was wrong. And I hope people have to pay with their jobs, because anything less is unacceptable. Anything less is unacceptable. Could they have paid someone to take him away? No, this isn't. No. Who would you trust to do that? I wouldn't even trust my mama. Okay. Right? I wouldn't even trust he trusts his mama, because mom's about as much of a criminal, you know, in the minds of me as they are, you know. They all lied under oath. So they don't mind committing perjury. They don't mind looking at law enforcement or court and willfully and intentionally lying. So this is not looking good for that side of the family, because we've got them dead to rights on lying under oath and lying to law enforcement and lying to a judge. Dead to rights. So do we think that they're really telling the truth about their missing child? Especially when they've been caught in this many lies publicly? And now it's going to be plastered all over the front pages of newspapers, social media, and national media? This is just so stupid. This is so stupid. But I tell you what, if they thumb their nose up at me, I'm talking about law enforcement and the courts, and don't even apologize to me for what I've been through, that'll tell me the last I need to know about that county. And then it's just balls to the walls from that point forward, you know? I have constitutional rights, and I'm going to use them. I'm going to use them to get my own justice. Too bad. I'm going to be fighting for my justice as well as Sebastian's. It's sad. Shame on them. Shame on all of them. Shame on all of them. All right, guys, go make it a great day. It is your Tuesday, but technically your Monday, because most of us were off yesterday. I wasn't off. I was working on court paperwork, as I always am when in my downtime and research. So we don't have much going on in the Sebastian Rogers case other than law enforcement violating journalists' rights to cover the case, and thinking that they have the authority to exonerate or delete the First Amendment for one person. Idiots. That's all I got to say. Idiots. All right, guys, take care. God bless. I'll be back later today. And say bye. Say bye, Delilah. Say bye, everybody. I'm going to go fight crime with my mommy. No, I'm not. I'm going to watch her do a bunch of legal paperwork while she ignores me when I want to play, because I like playing all day. I like playing all day, all day. Hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh. Like I said, she's my BFF. Don't forget to give Delilah bunches of hugs and kisses. And on our wish list, I got her some cute little outfits. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. We need her styling and profiling. Just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, guys, I love you. God bless.